I'm Ace Lyons. As a retired four-star admiral who served as Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, it's a special privilege for me to talk to you today about this important new book by the Center for Security Policy, China Prepares for Conflict, and why we must do the same. This book explains that while the Obama administration has dithered over the deterioration of the Middle East and ignored Asia, China has been moving to challenge and displace the dominant role the United States has played in this region and the world since the end of World War II by challenging the United States in traditional battle spaces and in some new ones as well. This book begins with a fictional warning order by the Secretary of Defense that our nation must begin preparations for a coming conflict with China because Beijing is preparing to engage decisively in conflict with the United States and its allies. I am one of 9 co-authors of this important book. The others are former Senator Jim Talent, Gordon Chang, Peter Navarro, Kevin Freeman, Bill Gertz, Frank Gaffney, Fred Fleitz, and Dean Chang. I explain in my chapter how China's efforts over the last 20 years to seize control of almost the entire South China Sea is an indication of new assertiveness to advance its regional dominance at the expense of the United States. I take issue with President Obama's benign neglect of the threat from China and how Beijing is building islands in the South China Sea that it plans to turn into stationary aircraft carriers to threaten our freedom of navigation in this region. Like the other authors of this book, I believe the next president must act immediately to restore American leadership and its military power, both of which have been seriously undermined by the disastrous policies of President Obama. We urgently need to modernize and increase the sizes of our land, naval, and air forces to stand up to China and other adversaries worldwide. The United States also must immediately raise the level of deterrence in the South China Sea by offering fighters and short-range ballistic missiles to the Philippines and substantial military aid to Taiwan. My co-authors explain other aspects of the growing threat from China. Bill Gertz discusses the huge growth in China's military, especially its missile arsenal and navy. Gertz says Chinese anti-satellite missiles and MIRV missiles pose special threats to the United States security and the ability of the U.S. military to prevail in the event of military conflict with China. Dean Chang discusses a related issue, how China's doctrine of extended deterrent concerning space and cyber is not only a policy of deterrence, but is intended to coerce its opponents to carry out actions that promote Chinese objectives. Kevin Freeman explains how China is engaged in unrestricted warfare and preparing for a total war by preparing to contest America around the world in every battle space. Freeman notes how these battle spaces go beyond the military and cyberspheres and also include a determined Chinese effort to stage economic warfare through crashing the U.S. stock exchange and intellectual property threat and currency warfare. Fred Fleitz discusses the growing cyber and intelligence threats from China, including how it has tried to recruit American students who visit China to spy for Beijing. The bottom line is that our nation needs to act now. We need to recognize the urgency and seriousness of China's plans to confront the United States in every battle space. We have to recognize that as we have drawn down our military forces, Beijing has built up its military and vastly improved it by stealing military technology from the United States. We also need to recognize and counter the growing cyber and intelligence threats from China. The Center for Security Policy's new book, China Prepares for Conflict and Why We Must Do the Same, addresses these issues and provides vital policy recommendations that our next president must implement to counter the growing threat from China. I strongly commend this important book. You can read it for free as an ebook on the Center's website, securefreedom.org, or you can purchase a copy on Amazon.com. I'm Ace Lyons. Thanks for watching.